Save it for the stream.
All
No,
right.
no, no. Anyways, as we were
Alright,
talking,
So I
we're
made
back.
a terrible mistake and screwed it up, but it's back up, and everyone is here except Mike. Oh, and don't feel bad for Mike because he's actually not. He's actually an
he's hanging
hour.
out with Allison, from what I understand.
He's hanging out with Allison, so he's actually it's earlier.
He's
where he
really
is.
lucky at this moment. He's hanging out, chilling on, whatever. What is it? What was it? What is it? She's got a chow mein going on, something? You never know. No,
Wait.
stir fry. Stir fry.
How is he only an hour ahead of me? Either he's in England or he's on my time zone.
No, he's actually an hour behind me, and I'm Central Time because he's currently in
Oh,
Saskatchewan.
he's an hour behind.
Well,
Maybe she baked him a taco.
you have all conveniently
taco.
forgotten that Mike is a time traveler. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he is a time traveler. He does go back and forth.
Of course.
He's got the voice
of course.
for it.
He's also a panda.
It is the dog's fault. He can't help it. Somebody said blame the dog. It's
Can I talk to you, Yoxes, for a second?
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you earlier, I know me and you have commented in the past that I might have seemed a bit aggressive in my commentary, so I wanted to, sort of extend the olive branch today and just get it out there that, I don't have a problem with you. It's been nice chatting with you, and this has been fun.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, it's been nice chatting with you too, cause what I am against is like people that are against the MRM for no reason.
No, I don't oppose the MRA or the MRM.
Yeah, because the MRM is needed for us, like now more than ever. Now that feminism is invading our schools, we need something like the MRM to counteract them.
My only issue is I don't see how the MRM plans on making itself extremely relevant. So far, from what I've seen, it's not as though the MRAs have made it into this grandstand of mainstream. We're still being called misogynist. We're still being called rape apologist, and that stigma's not going away as far as I can see. And so I would like to see it challenged, of course, but it doesn't seem like mainstream at any time is going to allow the MRM to be relevant.
Which is why
if you want to challenge the mainstream, you have to change.
No, well, I like Paul Elam's strategy though, because he actually wants the mainstream's hate. Like he pretty much puts himself out there and lets himself get yelled at.
The issue with hatred is that it drives diametrical opposition. If you get enough hate to the MRM, you're either going to have people who absolutely hate it or are absolutely within it.
Well, there are people that are absolutely within it, of course. There are also people that are in between. I've seen them.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you continue to feed off of that hatred, problems are going to rise in the mainstream because mainstream has enough of an influence to drive entire political divide.
I will say that it really shouldn't be like we shouldn't really be all this pessimistic when it comes to like how effective the MRM is going to be, because what we really need is we really need to put ourselves out in the media like that. Like there's this Red Pill movie that's coming out, Red Pill documentary that's coming out later.
I'm skeptical.
I'm not going to rely on that one. What I'm going to
I don't know.
is
I'm skeptical too, but even if it is bad, I think it'll give us enough exposure.
Okay, so we're live again. I wanted to get that out there because you guys don't know.
I think you already pointed that out.
No, yeah, I know, and everybody, people are listening. They don't mind, but I do want to respond to the question before I went all robo and then all this crap happened.
Yeah.
MGTOW Universe had asked me, but I wanted to start by saying that I don't think that a traditionalist model is possible. That's just straight out. I don't think we can return to that. That's not what I am even remotely advocating for, because we now have. I mean, essentially the world is different. Women are in the workforce and they're doing their thing, and in like in the middle they make a little bit more than men do, and they have that opportunity to go and make that money, and I think that what we're looking at is there's a shift happening in terms of how we produce, and we basically contribute to the the world, but it doesn't mean that we need to go back to the way things were. We can't do that. But the feminist answer is also not the right answer either, because it's driving a wedge between the sexes. and it's only making that grow more and more. I mean, I can only imagine what this generation, the millennials in college, are going to be like when they graduate and they take their, they go out into the world and they try to like find, love and raise families. I mean, we know that even though going your own way is a viable choice, most men are not going to do it.
Well, so really, MGTOW is just self-preservation. Yeah, and we know that the majority of men aren't going to do it, and I think that what we need to look at is that's why I think the relationship between men and women is so important, because it's the reason why we have all these other problems, in my opinion.
Do you think?
And I'm not saying that as a person who's like, I need to go back to the nuclear family, but I think that we need to get the state out of marriage first off. And I don't know how hard of a task that is, but that's really
Herculean. It is Herculean. They get so much money from it.
When you're looking at a good amount of money coming in, it's going to be difficult for them to go out.
It's not going to happen in our lifetime.
Say hello.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think it needs to happen in our lifetime. But I think we can get the ball rolling on it, on some level.
I agree.
But let me go ahead and let people respond to it too. Schultz,
well, hold on. I had a quick question to Brian.
Yeah.
Mo Lee in the comments suggested they told me that hatred is only one possible outcome of the mainstream, and I want to ask you: do you think there really is more than one possible outcome for the MRAs going mainstream?
Yeah.
Oh.
Good. Like not optimism about the MRM. Like.
Well, let's
fake.
Let's get Brian's opinion here, Eubaxis. Hold on.
Do I think there's more than one outcome?
For the MRAs going mainstream, do you think that there is a possibility of something other than hatred?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, look at this. Did you know that a couple of guys have already done some TEDx talks dealing with men's issues? There are at least 2 of them are already out, and Warren Farrell is one of them.
Warren Farrell is awesome.
Yeah, he just did one, and then there was this guy from India who did another one, and they're really well done. And a lot of people this is the thing too, is a lot of people in the comment section of these videos were like, I never knew this. This is like, I never really saw this from this angle before. And you have to, like, this is how I see it. The only thing that's preventing people from actually understanding that men face problems, one of the biggest reasons, aside from the fact that we do have an empathy gap that we have to address on some level, which that's completely, that's a whole other animal, because we're looking at
a chasm.
I cannot
address. It's not a gap, it's a chasm.
It's a chasm. No, it's there's definitely an empathy gap that we're looking at. But people are starting to see it, and the main reason why is because the MRM is getting the voice. They're starting to get a voice, and people are responding to it. It won't happen overnight, but I think that there are lots of people who are already from these 2 TED Talks that have come out. And then there's a documentary coming and that one feminist was like converted. And you also have to consider the fact that the majority of people who are men's rights activists or anti-feminists used to be feminists. So there is like where the barrier is at, aside from the fact that there's the empathy gap that I mentioned before, is simply that feminism as a political interest is trying to prevent MRAs from getting a platform to speak, because they know that if they do, some people will listen and they'll say, "Holy shit, that makes some sense," and it'll spread. It'll take time.
Thank you.
But it will spread, and I think that is we're gonna get hate just like Gamergate does, but after a while, you have occasionally, like Gamergate is an example. Ian Miles Chong was very against Gamergate.
Yeah, but when it comes into Gamergate and MRAs and whoever, Gamergate doesn't really ultimately care what you think about us, because we're already the bottom rung as it is in society. We're the worst of the worst. You can't make us go any further down.
Hold on. Gamergate, though, however, is attached to a product. It's attached to an industry,
A commodity.
gaming itself.
Yeah,
Thus,
but
more
that's a
people-
different medium.
Hold on. I know, but people are less likely to get hyper aggressive and emotional over video games. You've seen how many people say, "Oh, what the fuck is Gamergate?" You know, it's just people arguing about video games. When it comes to the MRAs versus feminism, however, this is ideological positions, and human biology mixing. This is our inherent sense of identity being challenged.
Yeah, but within that kind of
comparison to
medium.
Gamergate.
Yeah, but again, it's totally different from Gamergate. But if you're going to go into that type of direction of medium, you have to unfortunately change the game of where you're going to play it. Right now, feminists hold the media as mainstream media.
Well, here's the thing: I wouldn't argue the media.
Hang on. Before I let you do that, TED Talk is not really considered mainstream media. It's gaining its power of mainstream media, and it's allowing voices to be heard, but it's not considered mainstream. YouTube is trying to become mainstream, and in a way, a lot of the e-celebs are much more popular than some of the actual television celebrities, right? Now, you can see there's a change in the media. Why do you think the feminists are trying to get into the YouTube environment and hold it as much as they can? Because that's where their voice is.
Yeah, but they're getting driven off easily.
Right. Well,
at least
look at Lacey. You're going to look at Lacey Green. She's got a huge feminist voice. She's got a stupid little following, and she found her way off from. She's still on YouTube, but she's also on MTV. So she's trying to.
She's also getting torn apart by every major YouTuber.
Oh yeah, of course, because of the factor that she's holding on to two different types of values, which is two totally different things. You can't be in the old-fashioned media, which is the television entertainment world, and as well as be in the new media, which is the up-and-coming media that will take over.
Now, I want to throw in there that it's true that Lacey Green's arguments are being dismantled, and they're not hard to do that with. I mean, they really aren't. But the scary thing is that she still has like way more viewers and way more subscribers, which she's basically taken with her from when she was like, teaching 12-year-olds about their vaginas. And so, this is like this is still an uphill battle even against the dumbest
It's going to be an
arguments.
ongoing battle, but like I said before, if we take
Absolutely.
the battle to a different location, you'll be able to win it on that one. You can't win it on their turf now.
No.
So you're going to have to go in a different direction.
Yeah, subvert it.
That's why you see all these feminists complaining when Sargon appears in their recommended lists, because all the SJW YouTubers are so, most of them are so obscure and they don't get views. I mean, there's a few big ones, but there's a lot more medium-sized channels of people talking logical shit, and you always see the SJWs complaining. That's all over their YouTube, because that is what's coming up when people are looking into this on YouTube.
Yeah. Someone in the comments, Black Knight Fool, said that the dismantling is not being recognized by the mainstream, and this brings up a point of, even though we have the medium of YouTube, really the MRAs have YouTube. Feminism cannot really get big on YouTube. There's too much of a backlash already.
Correct.
But someone already pointed out, Black Knight Fool, he suggested if it's not being on the mainstream, if MTV isn't discussing Lacey Green's positions, does it really matter that we're on YouTube?
In a way, it does, because the factor, like I said before, this is a new medium growing. This medium will take over. How many people are actually watching television right now?
Not me.
Not many.
That number is actually dropping. The movie industry is having a hard time keeping people in seats. They're actually looking at streaming as a very viable way of getting people to watch new movies. That means that you're not going to be going out of your house anytime soon, people. What do you think the VR technology is booming the way it is? Why do you think they want robots in your bedrooms? Why do you think they need all this technology in order to keep us fucking amused? Without that technology, we're going to go outside and we're going to do stuff. So one of the things that's going to happen, whether we're going to talk to each other as human beings, or we're going to be talking to each other through automatons, through machines. What we're doing right now.
Let's connect this back to MGTOW. You mentioned virtual reality and augmented reality. if we tie this back to MGTOW, especially with MGTOW, there was, I don't recall if you guys are aware of it, Bioxis probably knows, the BBC wanted to do a documentary, and people like Nico and Barbar had a problem with this.
Yep.
That
I heard
occurred,
of that.
and this reminds me that the mainstream, right now, it's not even tolerating the MRAs. So what makes any of us think that either anti-MGTOW or MGTOW can ever have mainstream recognition? Because so far, what I'm seeing in the MGTOW community is that silently these men are going away, and then if you look at Japan, collapse ensues. What is going on is that these men leave, collapse ensues, and the mainstream still, even though the fire is underneath its pants right now,
the mainstream is not going to do anything. The only people who will do anything is the people who are in power. Henceforth, by the Japanese government, they're trying to find new creative ways.
Well, yeah, they're trying to get more
back into their traditional ideas. And if that doesn't work, then they've got to come up with another way. That means that they're trying to find ways to get men back into order. Now, if men go away and the women go away with, that pretty much destroys whatever medium there is.
Yeah. Blibbity Blop in the comments, no, I have not seen the documentary made by the BBC on gaming, so I can't talk about that, sorry.
All right,
so I'd like to see it.
We are getting close to the end because the show has gone like super long.
No.
I want to give. Wait, I know. You could do this all night. So, I think that this was Remy. Welcome to the call, Remy. Goodbye. I think that this.
Well, he just came in and left. My God.
He was in and out.
All right.
Oh, damn! He left very quickly. Damn, that's it. Remy, I keep telling you, you gotta do it.
Guys.
Oh,
Someone suggested in the comments, Radical Dreamer 1029 suggested, instead of a slut walk, let's bombard the slut walk itself and then rename it to a stud walk. And
yeah, I've already said that.
Again, that sounds like trolling at the
high. I say Milo and Lauren had brought some backup.
It's actually we're calling it a stud strut.
Oh man, that's
you gotta play Staying Alive by the Bee Gees as we do it.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
You can tell by the way I walk, and I'm a ladies' man.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a final question before we close the show. Remy, if you want to, I know that you're here at the last second, but I am ending it. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a fireside chat, and we always have different guests on. We've had Kevin Logan on. We've had different people.
Well, if you want me there, I'll be in.
I'll be there.
Can I be there?
Well, no. What we're gonna do is for tomorrow, we're just gonna have a single guest on talking with Karen. We're gonna have on Stardust.
Ooh.
So,
oh man,
I want to know if you have a question for Stardust, and if what that would be, and then we'll try and pose it to him on the show.
Let me take this one. I would like to ask Stardust, does he think that by spreading his knowledge on YouTube, by sharing his experiences, does he honestly think that his notions, his ideas, are going to be worth it? Because as a man going your own way, from my position, I would assume that whilst I appreciate his sharing of knowledge and experience, I would still assume that he would be off YouTube. He would be off making videos. I think there was another, Bioxis might be able to help. There was another popular, was it Mayor of MGTOW? No. There was another MGTOW YouTuber who actually decided to go his own way and leave YouTube to go on and do his life. And so for Stardust, it might have been, but for Stardust, why is he still on YouTube? And I'm not asking this to assault or accost him. I am just generally curious as to is it a sympathy thing? Is it an empathy thing? I wouldn't know.
Was it MGTOW United?
I think maybe. I have to check.
Yeah, that guy. You gotta check out the video Tildeer did on that guy.
Oh no, I think I've seen it. Yeah. Did that guy? Was that the guy who said women are not human?
Him and Sexy MGTOW.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know who they are.
All right. That's a good question. We're gonna try and get. And we'll definitely ask him that one. Let me see. Does anyone else have a question for Stardust for tomorrow?
I do.
All right. Let's hear it.
I would just ask him, why can't the MRA and MGTOW get along? Because
why can't we be friends?
That's my question too.
We need both of them. We need the MRMs and the MRAs to get change done, and we need MGTOWs voting with their feet, walking away and saying, if you're not doing these things, we're going to go and play in our own corner.
Right, so-
Here's the thing. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I guess.
We just need anti-feminism.
Wait, I want to hear what Remy has to say. Go ahead.
If you're a MGTOW and not an MRA, walking away will do enough for both movements. And if you're an MRA and not a MGTOW, you should work on your activism and on trying to spread the word and trying to get more people to hear it. And you're going to help your movement and both movement even. And what I think is that the only thing that we should avoid is just bickering between the people. Like beyond that, the bickering is pretty much pointless because it looks like infighting, even though it's not necessarily infighting, and it does not really help anyone. So that's my opinion.
I mean, every year you see the news reports come out. Marriage rates have fallen to blah percent this year. This much drop from last percent. I mean, people are noticing the decline of marriage in the States here. It's only going to be a matter of time before they start looking for the people to answer the question. Because this is not something the government wants to happen. Japan definitely doesn't want it to happen, and the United States for sure does not want this to happen. So eventually, I mean, they're going to come looking for the culprits, and eventually, I think we're going to have a chance. Everybody, MGTOW or not, everybody who's rejected marriage, who's rejected the nuclear family, who's rejected the American dream model of living, they're going to try to understand what's going on, and eventually they're going to have to reach out to somebody because it's not going to fix itself.
Yeah, usually when the news reports on things like low marriage rates and how tough it is and all that, they usually spend a part of that just shaming the guys, don't they?
And that just makes it worse. That just makes it worse, and it's going to keep making it worse every year.
Yeah, they do make it worse, and after a while, they're going to have to realize that tactic is not good. All right, so I got 2 for Stardust. Anything else?
What's your favorite ice cream?
Okay.
Well, I
didn't have it. I don't have anything. Go ahead.
I had a question for Brian, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Unrelated to MGTOW, I was going to ask, are you and the Honey Badgers ever going to do a podcast regarding male mental health, more specifically? I have personal experience. I feel like I could be a good guest if you guys were to ever talk about that.
No, actually, we definitely have plans on doing a show about male mental health. What we're trying to do is try to get Tara Palmatier on as a guest. So it's just a matter of the guests, because Dr. T, right?
Or how about Warren Farrell?
That would be awesome. I don't know if we'll be able to get him on, but that would be great. Or Tom Golden, any of them.
Yes.
They're all
Paul
good.
Elam. Paul Elam.
So.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we definitely do want to do one about male mental health. I've actually brought it up. Also, I want to do one on just male health, because I think that I think it's a MGTOW thing in a way. Think of it like essentially it's a part of taking care and loving yourself, right?
Right.
And part of that are things like a lot of men, and I'm not necessarily including you guys in this, but a lot of men, one of the reasons that they're looking so hard for a wife is because they're looking for someone that's going to take care of them. They want to feel
pseudo doctor.
Yeah, they want someone who's sort of like a parent too, or they buy them their food, they plan their diets, they cook for them, they clean for them. Well, if you have those skills already for yourself, I think you're going to be a more well-rounded and less dependent human being. So I'd like to do one at some point about just male health, like diet, and exercise and eating and things like that, you know? Because I think that mental health, psychological health, emotional health, and physical health are all related, but...
I propose the question because I have a deep background in psychology. Both of my parents are working in the field, and I have a variety of mental conditions that would be interesting to discuss, even in regards to MGTOW.
Well, yeah, and there was another thing, too, is that we've talked about how... because someone made a comment on one of our videos asking if the propensity for an interest to things like the men's rights movement and men going their own way, and even the PUAs, there seems to be, like, some people have observed that there are a lot of guys that are on the sort of like autistic end of the spectrum, or at the very least are, you know, just sort of like, you know, heading in that direction in terms of their, but I don't know like how much evidence there is of that. But that was what first sort of sparked my interest in doing a show about mental health. So.
Okay.
All right, and one other thing I want to tell you before we close out is we've already had a few requests come in to do more of these MGTOW voice shows. So
Fantastic.
I think we're going to.
Awesome.
So we will probably make it a semi-regular thing.
I'd be extremely interested.
And maybe you guys want to come back on and we'll do more mailbag stuff and just sort of...
I want to specifically talk in the next MGTOW podcast. I want to, just not to make it too personal, but in regards to my mental condition, I want to kind of bring that up and how it plays into my drive to MGTOW, how I connected to it. It's kind of dark in a sense, but I feel like the audience can handle that, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Our audience is pretty mixed bag as it is, so I think we should they'll be able to handle it.
Someone in the chat named Catherine Jackson said cooking shows, Brian. Yeah, exactly.
Apparently the audience wants the honey badgers to cook.
I know how to cook. I'm pretty good at
Karen
what I
is
do.
a cook, and she can probably show us. Like, I just asked her not long ago. I was like, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up in the U.S., and I don't like it because the turkey's always dry as fuck. And Karen
I remember that.
And she told me how to make a juicy turkey. So I think that, we should definitely do some cooking stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely do another one of these, guys, in the chat. Thanks for being so patient with me with the technical issues. Those of you, I'm sorry?
I was going to ask, can I get one question for the MGTOW guys here?
Yeah.
And for Brian as well, depending on how he identifies. In regards to your own mental condition, what level of empathy would you claim you have? Moderate, severely empathic? How would you line up on a spectrum of non-empathy to empathy? Because to me, it seems as though the more empathic males are drawn to the MRA, but so are the entirely non-empathic. So I need some data to collect.
Yeah, but the data is already kind of there. You're going to get a big mixed bag. For where we are in the MRA or the MGTOW movement, it is not really about psychological. It is about environmental. It is where we are placed within the spectrum of society that puts us into these categories. Again, this is about sexism and classism. Nothing else about any intelligence, not about your keep in mind that the MGTOW movement, or at least the idea of no ma'am, was actually created by scholars and people who were considered rogues.
I know.
Okay, so I'm a rogue at heart. I'm henceforth the icon in that. So, and I'm also a pretty good scholar. I do have some, major, male detriments such as dyslexia and that. But still, regardless of all that, I have a high IQ. So, and I'm a high functional individual. I am very sociable with people, and I can be antisocial with people. So I kind of don't fit the norm of this whole psychological movement, or at least
I ask
idea.
Because even a mixed bag tells me a lot. As an individual, let's just to affirm this.
Yeah.
I would be clinically diagnosed a sociopath. I am a non-neurotypical individual in which my brain cannot process human empathy.
Correct.
Many people have told me that's rather unfortunate, but from my perspective, rationality has led me to perform a cost-benefit analysis and come to the conclusion that I am more apt and useful in the MRA than in a feminist system.
Correct.
Thus,
because that is actually normal within males because of the fact that they don't always they don't always embark on the empathy moment. They can actually separate themselves from emotion as well as from.
I just find it strange that my drive is inherently connected to my lack of empathy, and thus I had to poll the audience and see if there's other individuals like that.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense in this degree.
And I also ask because I don't meet a lot of people who behave like me, the observer archetype, without empathy.
Observing? Well, you've just met somebody who's pretty clinical observing to a degree, who's also, like I said.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of that, considering the audience, from what I've seen from other MGTOW channels and polls I've done on Straw Poll and things like that, it appears that there's a larger base of individuals there than I thought.
Well, that's exactly what I was observing, or what somebody asked me regards the mental health episode.
Where do you lie, Brian? Are you empathetic, non-empathetic?
I don't know. You know, I can share some more. I'm gonna close out the show for now, but I'm not going anywhere. We'll just keep talking after the stream. So,
fantastic.
But thanks, guys, for coming. If you have any comments, please put them in the low bar. And if you like what we do here, please consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/honeybadgerradio.
Become a Patreon. Ready to be here.
Yeah, and let's. If you guys have any channels, go ahead and give them a plug. MGTOW United.
Man, if I had the cash, I'd make videos, but I don't.
United.
Did you just call me MGTOW United?
Oh,
MGTOW Universe. I'm sorry. All right. Let them do the thing.
All right, I have two channels, MGTOW Universe and MGTOW Multiverse. On Facebook is MGTOW Universe, and on Twitter it's @MGTOW_Universe.
All right, and would you consider that those two shows are, because they are both yours, they are united?
Oh, jeez.
Does that mean I'm not wrong after all?
Brian trying so hard to be right.
Anybody else have a channel that they do shit on?
If I have, my laptop has a pretty okay camera. I might do videos, and I have a dedicated mic. So no Shadow 115.
Record your voice as long as the content's good. Nobody cares.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
All right, well, thanks, guys.
I just have a Twitter account, man.
Check out the video I did with Dean Esme on my channel.
Okay, you'll be access to Anthony MGTOW. Go to his channel.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Good night.